Hey everyone, welcome back to the College Vine YouTube channel. Before we get started today, remember to subscribe below to make sure you never miss any of our top college application tips or test prep strategies. And don't forget that if you find today's video helpful, please go ahead and click the like button below and share it with your friends on social media. Thanks, and let's get started. Today we are diving into the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA, as you've probably heard of it. In this video, we'll provide an overview of what you need to know before filling out your FAFSA, and we'll offer up our top time-saving tips for filling it out. If you plan on applying for financial aid, you're not going to want to miss this information, so let's jump right in and get started. Let's begin with, what is the FAFSA? Well, the FAFSA is essentially a form that collects information about your family's financial situation. Most students entering college are considered to be financially dependent on their parents, and for that reason, your FAFSA includes not only your own financial information, but also the financial information from your parents, your family as well. For details about whether you qualify as a dependent for the purposes of the FAFSA, check out our blog post, What Does It Mean to Be Independent on the FAFSA, which is linked in the comments below. All U.S. citizens and eligible non-citizens who plan to apply for financial aid from one or more colleges in the United States need to fill out the FAFSA. Many colleges might require additional financial information to consider aid, but the FAFSA is generally your starting point when it comes to applying for financial aid. The FAFSA form is intended primarily for you, the student. In this video, we'll assume that you are the one filling out the FAFSA, using information that has been provided to you by your parents. Once you filled out the form, one or both of your parents, depending on their circumstances, will also need to sign the form. So you may be wondering why the FAFSA asks you for so much information. Well, the answer is that the FAFSA determines your eligibility for need-based financial aid by determining how much money your family can afford to contribute to your college education based on the data you provide. That's a pretty difficult estimate to reach, so they need all this data to come up with the best possible number. If your family has the financial means to cover the entire expected cost of your college education, you will not be eligible for need-based financial aid. You may still be able to apply for merit-based scholarships to assist with your college costs, but those generally will not involve the FAFSA form. So let's talk about getting started with the FAFSA. While the FAFSA is available as a paper form, we highly recommend that you fill it out online. You can find it on the Federal Student Aid website at fafsa.gov. Each year, the FAFSA is available for the following school year starting on October 1st. That means that if you're entering college in the 2020-2021 school year, the FAFSA will open for you on October 1st, 2019. You should start working on your FAFSA as close to its release date as possible. Federal work study, state, and institutional aid can all run out before the deadlines, so you can maximize your potential financial aid awards by getting your application in as early as possible. To get started on the FAFSA website, you'll click the blue Start Here button, which will automatically redirect you to a page for creating an FSA username and password. You want to write those down and keep them in a safe spot so you'll be able to log in again later on. Your FSA ID is specific to you. Your parents will need to create FSA IDs as well in order to sign your FAFSA form online. Since the FSA ID is legally equivalent to your signature, it's very important that you not share it with anyone, not even your parents. Once you've created your FSA ID, your identifying information will be verified by the Social Security Administration in a process that usually takes between 1 and 3 days. You'll be notified once your information is confirmed and your FSA ID is ready for use. Let's move on to actually filling out the form. Most students are a little intimidated by the FAFSA at first and think that filling it out will be a significant time commitment. Rest assured though, it only takes about 25 minutes to fill out the FAFSA as long as you're well prepared in advance. We'll talk about how you can get ready a little bit later when we move on to our favorite time-saving tips. For now, let's take a look at all of the steps that filling out the FAFSA entails. Step 1, you'll need to actually log into the FAFSA. So when you're ready to start filling out the FAFSA, you'll log into your FAFSA account at fafsa.ed.gov using your FSA ID. For your security, only complete the FAFSA through this official website. Remember that the FAFSA is a free application, so any website that asks you to pay to submit the FAFSA is a scam, and you should get off that website as soon as you can. Step 2 is to create a save key. Early on in the process of working on your FAFSA, you'll be asked to create a save key. That's a temporary password that will allow you to return to the FAFSA and complete it in multiple sittings if needed. It can also be used to give your parents access to the FAFSA so that they can help you fill it out. Step 3 is to enter your identifying information. You'll first be asked to provide some identifying information about yourself. That will include your full name, your date of birth, and your contact information, as well as your alien registration number or driver's license number if you have those things. Another item you'll be asked for is your social security number, and it's very important that you provide it on the form. That social security number is used to confirm your identity and to help colleges keep the various components of your financial aid application together and accounted for on their end. You'll then answer various questions about yourself, such as your citizenship status, your marital status, and where you went to high school. You want to answer these questions in the way that's most accurate as of the time you started filling out this year's FAFSA, unless another time period is specifically referenced in the form. Step 4 is to provide your financial information. Once you've filled in your personal information, you'll move on to providing your own financial information as a student. You may be able to simplify the application process by using the IRS data retrieval tool, the IRS DRT, to automatically import your data. To use the IRS DRT, once you reach the financial section of the FAFSA, simply click Link to IRS and follow the directions to access your tax information. With your consent, certain sections of your FAFSA will then be automatically filled in with figures from your last year's taxes. Don't change any of these pre-filled answers, as they are the correct answers, but be sure to manually answer any questions that the IRS DRT did not cover. Don't leave any blanks. Not everyone is going to be able to use the IRS DRT, so you may still need to enter your data manually. Follow the directions carefully in this section and double-check the figures you provide in order to ensure that your financial situation is accurately represented on the FAFSA. Step 5 is to determine whether you are considered a dependent. Once you've entered your information, you'll be asked a series of questions in order to determine whether you are considered a dependent by the FAFSA. If, like most prospective college undergrads, you are a dependent, you'll be asked for your parents' financial information as well as your own. Again, you and your parents may be able to use the IRS DRT to transfer that past year's tax data into the parent financial information section, but you'll still need to answer some questions manually, and you want to make sure not to leave any blanks. As always, take care and double check your figures because this is a very important application. If your parents would prefer to fill out this section themselves rather than giving you the information to fill it out, you can give them direct access to your FAFSA form by providing them with the save key that you created earlier in the process. Or you can always fill it out the old-fashioned way by sitting down next to your parents and completing the FAFSA application together. Step 6 is to specify the colleges that you want to receive your FAFSA. So in order for the universities to actually receive your aid information, you'll need to specify them when you fill out the FAFSA form. You can have your data sent to up to 10 colleges if you use the online form. If you're still unsure where you want to apply, just put down your best guesses. Rest assured you can update this information later. Step 7 is to sign your FAFSA. So once you've filled in all of the required fields and double-checked your answers, it's time to sign the form, which you'll do by using your personal FSA ID. One or both of your parents, depending on their marital status, will be required to sign it with their FSA ID as well. This electronic signature is legally equivalent to your signature on paper. Step 8 is to hit submit. So finally, you will officially submit your FAFSA form. You should be directed to a confirmation page once the form is successfully submitted. Print this confirmation page for your records. You'll be sent a confirmation email as well, but this confirmation page itself contains some useful additional information that you'll want to save. So now that you've filled out the form, let's move on to some time-saving tips. Although the FAFSA isn't a huge time suck, it can definitely drag on for longer than needed if you don't have the tools you need ahead of time. Here are our top 3 time-saving FAFSA tips. Number 1 is to gather your documents in advance. The FAFSA plays a major role in determining how much financial aid you receive. You want to familiarize yourself with the process early and ideally start gathering information now. You're going to need a bunch of financial documents, such as your parents' tax returns, that demonstrate your family's assets, their income, and their expenses. Those documents will be necessary for filling out the FAFSA when the time comes. While the exact documents that you'll need vary a little depending on your specific financial situation and that of your parents, the most common documents that are required include the following: federal tax information or tax returns, including the IRS W-2 information for you and your spouse if you're married, and for your parents if you're a dependent student. IRS 1040, 1040A, or 1040EZ forms. Foreign tax returns. Tax returns for Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the Marshall Islands, the Federated States of Micronesia, or Palau. Records of your untaxed income, such as child support received, interest income, and veterans non-education benefits for you, and once again for your parents if you are a dependent student. Information on cash savings and checking account balances, and also investments, including stocks, bonds, and real estate, but notably not including the home in which you actually live right now. Business and farm assets for you, and once again for your parents if you are a dependent student. So that's a lot of documents, and gathering all those documents in advance will streamline the process once you're actually sitting in front of the form online. You can learn more about what the FAFSA is and the documents that are required in our blog posts, FAFSA, CSS Profile, iDoc, Oh My, A Guide to Financial Aid, and The Ultimate Guide to Filling Out the FAFSA, both of which are linked in the comments below. Tip number 2 is to get an idea of what your financial aid package might look like. FAFSA determines government aid, which includes grants, loans, and work study. Since it may be difficult to figure out exactly what the offer means when your letter comes, you should take a look at sample letters to familiarize yourself with how the letters are actually written and laid out so that you actually get it once you receive the offer. You can learn more about what the packages mean and look like by reviewing our blog post, Understanding Your Financial Aid Letters. It's also a good idea to use an expected family contribution, EFC, calculator to get an idea of how much your family will be expected to contribute to your college cost. While the calculator is just an estimate, it can help inform you for planning purposes well before your financial aid letter arrives. You can find an EFC calculator on the College Board website at bigfeature.collegeboard.org. Simply click the Pay for College tab at the top of the screen and then select Paying Your Share from the drop-down menu. Our final tip number 3, is to discuss your financial aid with your parents. Before filling out the FAFSA, you should sit down with your parents to discuss both the college application process in general and also your financial needs and means as a family. You should have this conversation near the beginning of high school so that you're not rushing in at the last minute and it's a constant conversation that updates according to your goals. This will also help to keep your goals aligned with your family's. In addition to gathering financial documents, your family should start looking at their finances and their ability to meet the expected family contribution, that one that you calculated in a step above. If this is going to pose a financial challenge for you and your family, it's best to know about it now. If you or your parents are unsure at all about how to answer any of the questions on the FAFSA, or you're having a difficult time filling it out, you can always contact the Federal Student Aid Information Center for help. Those folks are available via email at studentaid.ed.gov or by telephone at 1-800-433-3243. Your guidance counselor or another official at your school may also be able to assist you. For more general guidance on planning for college expenses or filling out your applications, visit us online at app.collegevine.com. That's it for today. Thank you for visiting our YouTube channel, and if you're applying to college and financial aid this season, best of luck.